Imagine for a minute, if you will, the pattering of small shoes of a toddler running down a tiled hallway of a small Delta church. Now, the name of the town or the church doesn't really matter to the story. They're all basically the same, right? Wooden pews, mauve carpets, redback hymnals. A boy's running up and down the hallways, like most toddlers, probably a little too comfortable and unaware of the happenings around him, playing some isolated game up and down the hallways before Sunday school. As he passes the pastor, only really noticing the typical black pant legs, he hears, "Slow down, pardner," from a kind, familiar voice. The boy slows his pace, the pattering stops, and he considers a thought that he's had for several weeks now. After the short contemplation of a toddler, he decides today's the day. He turns around, walks up to the black pant legs, and tugs respectfully and waits for a response. "Yes, sir. What can I do for you?" the pastor says as he lowers down to eye level with the boy. "Do you have to be the one to tell the stories on Sunday?" "Well, I guess not. Do you have anybody else in mind?" "Yeah, I want to tell stories." "Well then, I think we can make that happen. I'll talk to your parents. Now run along and don't be late for Sunday school." The excited boy runs to find his mother and share the exciting news. The next week came along, and after demanding to wear black pants and a tie, the boy was ready. At the end of the service, after the traditional singing and sermons and prayer requests, the boy was escorted to the front row of the sanctuary, and the pastor announced to the congregation a special sermon from a young member of the church. The young story enthusiast was asked to stand on one of the altars so the people could see him. Now, I really couldn't see everyone in the audience. I was only about 1.5 feet off the ground. Mary and Joseph went to Bethlehem to give birth to Jesus in a barn. There were animals and angels, a shepherd, and 3 old wise men that gave Jesus gifts: gold, frankincense, and myrrh. The end. The audience responds in a mixture of laughter and clapping. Almost immediately after the boy delivered the abridged toddler version, he jumped down and ran to sit with his parents. Joy had to be radiating from my eyes, and I had a Cheshire cat from ear to ear, I'm told. My excitement probably was overwhelming. But unbeknownst to me, I had done something as a toddler that most people fear more than death: public speaking. Of course, all of us in our profession have similar stories of watching a young person deliver their first speech or performance, whether coaching an uncomfortable student through an introduction or observing a naturally gifted individual pace through their first audition. Encouraging the next generation to find their voice is what we do. ACTAA has its roots in the 1919 Arkansas Little Theater Association, and we were reorganized in 1936 as the Speech and Drama Teachers Association. And for over 80 years, our membership has been dedicated to advancing Arkansas through the promotion of communication, debate, and theater arts as an essential discipline, life skill, and art form. This commitment is reaffirmed through our work as an association and the daily instruction that occurs in classrooms and stages all across the state by our members. Whether the activity is debate forensics, acting, or public speaking, whether it's hosting a competition or supporting local educators in the classroom, whether it's constructing an argument or discovering a new piece of literature for the first time, ACTAA serves Arkansas to promote students a platform to provide how to positively and professionally formulate their independent feelings and thoughts, and how to communicate or express said thoughts to others respectfully. As an association, our work is centered around our core values of promoting critical thinking, self-expression, action, and service for all. 2 years ago, we adopted these core values and the Think, Speak, Act Arkansas branding. As I accept the gavel this weekend and take on the responsibilities as ACTAA president, I believe it's time that we work to develop an action plan to strategically and intentionally live out our values, expand our opportunities, and prepare Arkansas students to be leaders in their communities and workforce. At its launch, I envision an action plan that includes 4 themes: focusing our work and inspiring conversations through our memberships on how each discipline, each community, and each member can contribute to achieving our vision. A future where every student in Arkansas has the opportunity to be transformed through participation in communication, debate, and theater arts. The action plan's 4 themes are reflect on our purpose, increase our impact, expand our voice, and increase our ability to adapt. Although our future inevitably welcomes new programs and strategies for supporting educators and their students in the classroom, we must reflect on our purpose. Why was ACTAA founded? What work has been toiled by those who served our state before us? What is the true mission of ACTAA? Our 1936 Constitution states the purpose of the then Arkansas Association of Teachers of Speech was to stimulate and encourage interest in all phases of speech, and in order to bring about unity of action between all schools to raise speech standards and to encourage the development of speech and drama in schools and communities throughout our state. Nearly 90 years later, we must reflect on the words of Lois Alexander, Blair Hart, Marguerite Metcalf, and the like, asking ourselves, how are we today in 2024 stimulating interest, uniting schools, raising academic standards, and encouraging the development of new speech and drama programs? Most importantly, we should be asking ourselves what opportunities does the future hold, and how are we going to answer this decades-old call? We know that Arkansas needs communication education. In the current Arkansas Workforce Assessment Report issued by the Department of Commerce, 4 of the top 10 gaps in employability skills are related to our communication standards. And 8 of the 10 employability skills surveyed by students entering the workforce share a lack of preparedness in communication. In fact, we know over 2 decades, state workforce assessments have shown employers across industries, across the state, share that communication skills like interpersonal communication, active listening, critical thinking, verbal communication, and collaboration, and the like, are the top soft skills lacking in new hires. As we reflect in our purpose, coupled with the realities of the skills needed to be mastered by our state's high school graduates, we know that we need communication in drama education in the classroom. We know communication should play a more prominent role in the curriculum. Communication should serve as a critical component of our school's education, not material to be passed on to be taught by an English teacher or embedded in a biology class. We should be asking ourselves how we can partner with the Council of English Teachers to ensure that they're allowed to teach the classes that they went to school to teach, and communication teachers exist in every school. We should explore developing new courses to support CTE pathways or reclaim communication courses that are currently being offered by non-communication educators. It is apparent communication education needs to be taken seriously in Arkansas and not just treated like a fluff class to be taken or an easy elective course to teach, but a critical course that can directly impact the employability and health of our students and the state. As we reflect on our purpose and our outward impact, we must also look within our association and ask ourselves, who do we serve and how can we serve them better? Whether they're students, alumni, teachers, lifetime members, or our partners, how can we measure and grow our impact? When teaching leadership with students, I share 4 philosophies that I encourage students to consider as they frame their decision making as a leader and they develop their personal leadership plans. One philosophy is that we are only limited by our imagination. Big achievements can only be the result of dreaming big. I instruct students to abolish the ugliest 4-letter word in the English language, can't, and replace it with one of two alternatives, unable or unwilling. The word can't allows you not to do something, but doesn't force you to consider the why. Unable and unwilling force you to be confronted by the why you're settling to not do something. Either you lack the ability or you have higher priorities. As a leader in ACTAA, I never want us not to achieve our goals, to stop projects, or never explore new opportunities because we were unable to support an idea financially. That's why I am prioritizing growing our endowment as a personal goal of mine. Increasing our resources will allow the achievement of your big dreams and increase our impacts in big ways. As we work together to identify strategies for our action plan, I encourage members to also consider how we can increase our impact by supporting teachers in the classroom, developing professional development series, considering an end-of-the-year theater awards program, developing an all-star recognition program for our students, rethinking how we communicate with our own members, and thinking of new ways that we can engage with students, alumni, lifetime members, and our partners. If communication and theater education is to become a priority in our communities and state, then we have to make a commitment to expand our voice. Working more directly with DESE to be engaged in updating standards that we developed, developing new courses that meet the needs of our state, and ensuring speech and communication and theater arts licensure remains a requirement to teach communication and theater courses. They always have been and should remain our priorities as an association. But as parents and the legislature increase their roles in state education, we need to ensure that we have plans also to share the importance of communication and theater education with these groups in addition to school and state administrators. Inspiring more advocates for communication and theater education can ensure that their offerings in schools are healthy and high school graduates are fully prepared to be engaged, productive citizens that are fully employable and contribute as leaders in their communities. As a test pilot, ACTAA leadership launched the Arkansas Speech and Debate Month campaign during the month of March. The social media campaign featured posts that celebrated the long history of speech and debate instruction in our state and highlighted individual stories of educators and alumni whose lives have been positively impacted by speech and debate in the classroom or in the competitive tournament environment. This started with a Gravette High School student, Zeke Surface, who wrote and presented to their state representative a resolution recognizing the month of March as National Speech and Debate Month in Arkansas. On March 28, 2023, both the Arkansas House of Representatives and the Arkansas Senate adopted concurrent resolutions proclaiming March as National Speech and Debate Month at the Capitol. Capitalizing on this momentum, ACTAA launched the Arkansas Speech and Debate Month campaign. And the reception for this campaign was overwhelming. And I suggest that we look at expanding the concept to include more story features, materials to share with students in schools, and a day at the Arkansas Capitol where we can highlight our talented students to public and state leaders. Additionally, I hope that we explore partnering with Arkansas Thespians to launch a companion Arkansas Theater Education Month, maybe in September or October, to promote theater education on a similar platform. Imagine students performing readers' theaters in the old Supreme Court chambers, while schools are promoting what happens in the classroom in the Capitol Rotunda with hands-on activities that highlight the critical life skills learned in our classrooms. I can imagine the power of these presentations, and I'm excited for other ideas that our committees and our members will recommend as we design our action plan together in the next month. One area that will take our entire membership to imagine is our final priority: increase our ability to adapt. Neither our state nor the classroom are the same as 1936. And our association, how it does business, and how we dream cannot be either. I'm not suggesting we throw out our history. On the contrary, I encourage us to reflect on our history and identify the areas that define ACTAA as ACTAA. But As we imagine the future, we should consider new ways of operating and serving our members and their students to live out the mission and vision of our association in the 21st century. A few ways that might be able to be more adaptive is shifting when and how business is conducted. Currently, so much of our business can only be conducted at our annual conference in September, and the board of directors only officially meets 3 times a year. I recommend an assessment of which items truly require membership endorsement at the fall conference and which items can be considered by the board. If the board met more regularly, like every other month, then our association could be far more responsive to our members and students' needs. Additionally, we should continue the development of our student organizational handbook and a more modern website and social media presence. But of course, the strategies that will make up our action plan outlining how we can achieve these 4 priorities is up to you, our membership. Over the next few months, you'll have the opportunity through a survey, committees, and a forum to recommend strategies for our action plan. I hope to launch this action plan on our summer workshop at Episcopal Collegiate in July, and then the true works begin as we live out our vision by reflecting on our purpose, increasing our impact, expanding our voice, and increasing our ability to adapt. You know, Brother Back didn't inspire me to be a public speaker, nor really prepare me to learn the skills necessary to serve as our state's Communication and Theater Arts Association president. What he did do was allow a spark to continue to burn. It would have been way easier for him to say, well, that's nice, or yeah, one day when you're older. But he said yes to a toddler. He helped a little boy live out a dream and imagine what the future could hold. Today, I still speak in public, and I still imagine what the future holds. What the future holds for ACTAA, what the future holds for our students, and for our state. And I hope over the next 2 years you'll join me in imagining what we can achieve together. Thank you to the membership for investing your trust in me as our association's next leader. Thank you to Brandon Box-Higdon for 3 years of service as president, and congratulations to all the students across the state that qualified for our state tournament, that advanced to finals in the state tournament, and are about to graduate and be our state's next generation of leaders. I look forward to working with each of you to inspire Arkansas to think, speak, and act for a brighter future.